foul. That was absolutely ridiculous.
The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Up on down. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
I don't know. It's tough. Tom's up there, man. Beantown.
Well, I've been a fan of Boston Celtics for, my whole life pretty much.
First Celtics game was back when I was like 7.
The Boston Celtics became legendary.
What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Jets. I made it here on YouTube and from Beantown Takes, back again with another video. And today we're going to be reacting to giving the Boston Celtics Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday was a massive mistake. Now, as you guys know right now, the Celtics have been playing good. Actually, they've been playing really good for the most part. They are 9-2. They're first in the Eastern Conference. Jason Tatum is becoming an MVP player again this season. Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis have been perfect additions to this squad. Jaylen Brown is doing his thing. Even Al Horford has been playing well coming off the bench. This team's been playing very well. It definitely gives you hope that Banner 18's coming this year. Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis have fit into this roster perfectly. Jrue Holiday giving you somewhat of a post game as well as a guard. I didn't really know he had that type of bag in him. He's been scoring the ball. He's been dishing out assists. He's been grabbing a ton of boards also. And playing phenomenal defense as well. Love Jrue Holiday in the squad. He brings somewhat of what Marcus Smart did. And he's a better shooter as well. Jrue Holiday has fit perfectly. Porzingis, a lights out shooter as well as a big. Bringing you somewhat of a post game on the offensive end. And then on the defensive end, he's been very good as well. And I'll also say this. Robert Williams is down for the rest of the season in Portland. Celtics fans wish him a speedy recovery and a great bounce back next season for Robert Williams. Obviously, we still have love for Rob Williams. It's sad to see him go down because he was 100% ready to go for the season. Even before the trade, he was ready to go. He was excited for this season because this was the best he felt in a while. And just for him to go down again absolutely sucks. But man, Brad Stevens is an absolute wizard. He's a genius. This is why I was okay with them giving up Robert Williams in the Jrue Holiday trade over Al Horford. Because Al Horford is on the court way more than Robert Williams is. Sure, Robert Williams is younger and probably has more of an upside than Al Horford right now. But Al Horford brings you defense against star players like Joel Embiid. He locks them down. We'll see how he does next week against the Bucks. And he brings you somewhat of a shooting game as well. I love what Al Horford can do on the floor. I was okay with it because Al Horford is on the court way more than Robert Williams is. That's why I was okay with them giving up Robert Williams for Jrue Holiday. And I'm glad they did, because now we still have two bigs on the court. Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford. We didn't lose much in our bigs depth. If we still had Robert Williams, we're in the same position anyways. We still have Porzingis and Al Horford. But let's say we didn't trade Marcus Smart for Kristaps Porzingis. Man, we'd be screwed this season. We would 1000% be screwed. Brad Stevens knew what he was doing this offseason, getting Porzingis, and then also getting rid of Robert Williams for Jrue Holiday. Good job, Brad. Phenomenal job. We're going to react to this video from Get Like Coop. Go subscribe to him. I'll leave his links in the description down below. Leave a thumbs up on this video here if you guys enjoy these type of videos. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. The link's in the description down below. Our next game we are going to is still up in the air. I am done with my 24/7 job, as you guys been seeing live on streams. I'd be on live, and then I'd have to end abruptly to go tow a car or whatever. I am now done with that job. So now we can look forward to go to games again. I am eyeing the Milwaukee Bucks next Wednesday. or I'm eyeing the Chicago Bulls on the 28th, that final in-season tournament game. I wanted to go do the in-season tournament game against Brooklyn. I actually got the okay to take that night off, but some things happened and plans fell through, so I didn't do it. So, let me know in the comment section which game should I do down below. And without further ado, let's hop straight into this video.
They had Gordon and JB and Isaiah Thompson, Smart, and I didn't think I was good enough to be on that team.
Can you guys believe that Jason Tatum didn't want to come to the Boston Celtics all because he was scared that he wouldn't be able to crack their rotation? And now, he is the youngest Celtics player in history to reach 10,000 points. At only 25 years old, Jason Tatum has turned himself into...
He's not 25 years old because he's forever 19.
You're goddamn right.
Which, by the way, go get your merch. Links in the description down below as well. So on beantowntakes.com, you hit the store tab. It'll bring you to a page where you can click on a button that'll bring you to the store, and you can go get your merch. Jason Tatum, man, unbelievable. 10,000 career points at only 25, 19 in the asterisks. But I'm so glad that we're going to be able to watch Jason Tatum for a while. I know he's right now in his contract, it says he has 2 years left this year and then next year, but you know he's getting the bag next year, and you know that he's going to be accepting the max contract from the Celtics. He 1,000% deserves it. He loves it here in Boston. There ain't no way he's leaving. I am excited to see Jason Tatum here for a while. One of my favorite Celtic players of all time already. When he gets us a ring, I think he's going to eclipse himself better than Paul Pierce. I really do. And that's crazy to say, because Paul Pierce has been one of my favorite players for a while of all time. He's got the chance to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Celtic of all time. He's got the chance to do that. How do you not love this guy? I'll tell you that. His game is absolutely phenomenal. He's like Kevin Durant mixed with Paul George. I think that's kind of a good comparison for him. Unbelievable.
...to one of the best players in the NBA, while also making himself a cornerstone for one of the NBA's most iconic franchises. While Jason Tatum has accomplished a ton already in his NBA career, he has yet to win a championship. But that's something that he and this Celtics team wants to change. Coming into this season, Tatum said himself that people expect us to get to the championship and win. And if we don't, we didn't necessarily meet expectations. Talk about setting
You've
the
been saying
bar
that.
high. So this video, we have to talk about how good
You've been
this
saying
Boston
that.
Celtics team really is. And if this team really has what it takes to bring home that Larry O'Brien championship trophy. But first, today's content is brought to you guys by Prize Picks. For those of you who don't know what Prize Picks play, simple as submit. I of the first deposit. So about a month ago, I made a video that was titled "The Milwaukee Bucks Have Accidentally Created a Monster in Boston." And in making this video, I would find out exactly how many people were doubting the Boston Celtics. And let me say this, the amount of doubters that this team has is mind-boggling.
Right.
Guys, the comment section of this video was interesting. While there was a good amount of positive comments, there was a fair amount of them that were just like this one or even worse.
Boston's strength was always its depth. Its top two players are overrated and falter. The depth is now gone. I like the Jrue move, but depending on Horford / Porzingis to stay healthy while banging against the elite bigs in the league with no bench is not a winning formula. I get what he's saying in terms of Horford and Porzingis staying healthy. But we just saw on Wednesday how deep their bench is. Sure, it's not big name guys coming off the bench or whatever, right? But each individual guy brings something to the table. Like, for example, O'Shea Brissett. He doesn't bring scoring. He just brings energy off the court. On defense, getting rebounds, he doesn't score the ball well, but he brings energy onto the court. That's huge. Then you got Svi bringing out shooting. Then you got Banton, who is not known for scoring, but can be a slashing guard and brings defense because he is 6'7" and he's a guard. Sam Hauser brings you 3 and D. He's a three-point shooter and a good defender. Peyton Pritchard, a scorer and somewhat of a good defender. I know size for Pritchard is gonna get to him at some point. But they don't call him the Energizer Buddy for no reason. He holds his own on defense. Then you got Al Horford, the leader of the bench, really. The veteran presence off the bench. Then Luke Cornett, 7'1", size off the bench. Yeah, sure, the bench is not filled with names like last year, like Brogdon, Robert Williams. Before he got injured, there was Gallinari. Sure, the bench this season isn't filled with big name bench players like last year, but when it comes to the playoffs, what matters is your 8 best versus their 8 best. And the Celtics have a great top 8 than last year. I think it's better. I think it's better than last year. I still need to figure out who the 7th or 8th guy is, but that could all be figured out at the trade deadline, too. They could go out and get somebody like Alex Caruso or Lonnie Walker IV, who I've been saying I wanted them to really get Tice, but that's now gone, seeing that he's going to the Clippers. I think they still need another scorer off the bench. I don't think Hauser can keep up what he's been doing. Maybe a backup big, but you've been seeing that Al Horford is very capable of being a backup big off the bench. They have 6 starters on their team. That's very good for the Celtics, in my opinion. You can always figure out the 7th and 8th guy at some point in the season, but as of right now, I like what they're doing, honestly.
Indy fans said that Boston's strength has always been its depth. Its top 2 players are overrated and always falter. The depth is gone now. I like the Jrue move, but depending on Horford and Porzingis to stay healthy while banging against elite bigs in the league with no bench is not a winning formula. Though this comment did have some interesting points, ultimately, it's not one that I can entirely agree with, as I am taking the glass half full approach, being a huge fan of this team's vaunted duo and what this team was able to accomplish this past offseason in general. Don't get me wrong, everybody's entitled to their opinion, so I do understand if you doubt the Celtics. It's just that being completely out on them at this stage of the game for some reason feels really wrong.
Right.
A lot of comments towards the Celtics on that video were much harsher than this one, which is odd.
Right.
Because not only would these comments come after a long reign of success in Boston, but they would also come after the Celtics had, in my opinion, what was one of the best off seasons of anybody.
Right.
Look, I know that the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown era has yet to result in a championship, but they've been in the mix more often than not. And
right.
That alone is impressive in itself. Since
right.
the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown duo has been a thing, the Boston Celtics have failed to miss the playoffs and have only lost in the first round 1 time. That's not bad considering that Jaylen Brown was drafted in 2016 and that Tatum was drafted in 2017.
Right.
It honestly feels like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Boston Celtics have been so good for so long that their success is now being used against them. But regardless of any narrative that is formed against them in the past, I feel like this current Celtics squad is built to reverse them. This offseason, the Celtics will make a ton of moves in an effort to reshape their roster
so hard
that
to
was
forget
around
that
Jason
they're only
Tatum and the
26 and
$304 million
25.
man, Jaylen Brown. Though the Celtics would lose some very solid depth this offseason, losing guys like Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Grant Williams, and Marcus
Grant was
Smart,
the other one, right?
what the Celtics would bring in would undoubtedly raise their ceiling. In acquiring the 7'3" sharpshooting Kristaps Porzingis and the defensive-minded Jrue Holiday, the Celtics would give themselves the high-end talent that this team needed and that stars like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum
pause
love.
The video. But even Grant Williams was getting DNPs from Joe Mazzulla last year. I necessarily disagreed with them, but like, for the most part, without Grant Williams last year, they still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see that one as big of a loss as people say it is. they kind of replaced Grant Williams with guys who can do at least one thing individually. Is it like last year? Probably not. But it's still decent.
Despite the Celtics finishing second in the Eastern Conference standings and second in offensive rating last season, there is always room for improvement. While the numbers on offense last season were great, there would be a lot of times where the going would get tough and that read and react offense that, in the words of Marcus Smart, would thrive on randomness simply
that's a
wouldn't
very
look
good
like
point.
the Celtics offense. We all
The
know
defense
that
is
Jason
back.
Tatum and
I
Jaylen
agree.
Brown are more than capable of cooking any defender in front of them. But what happens when the game slows down and those threes that make your offense look so good when they're falling aren't? Well, we would get a glimpse of this very situation when the Celtics would fall to the Heat in 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
After doing the unthinkable and fighting back from an 0-3 hole. Unfortunately, an injury to Tatum, wavering intensity, and the Celtics' inability to overcome Miami's deadly 2-3 zone would prove to be too much, ruining any chance that the Celtics had in Game 7. So this brings us to the question, how do you break a zone? Well, the answer is fairly simple. Having a multifaceted threat occupy the high post and simply shooting a team out of a zone are two of the easiest ways that you could break a zone. Against the Heat in Game 7, the Celtics would generate some good looks, but ultimately they would go 9 of 42 from the three-point line, while they looked helpless as Miami forced them into whatever they wanted to defensively.
Right.
This is where Kristaps Porzingis comes in. Kristaps is 7'3", and possesses the ultra-rare ability at his size to shoot the ball from anywhere on the floor.
Right.
How are you supposed to successfully run a zone when the other team's big is 7'3" and has the ability to stretch you out to the logo? Against
Right.
zone defense, Kristaps Porzingis
Robert
is
Williams
a
couldn't
literal
do
glitch.
that.
Here's a glimpse of what Kristaps was able to do against Miami's zone last season. Whenever Kristaps caught the ball in the high post and occupied that low man, it was over for Miami. Just look at the attention that Kristaps garners when he catches the ball in the high post. When he catches this ball, the defense is forced to make a decision. If they don't react fast enough or don't care, he's open for an easy free throw line jumper. And if they react appropriately, passing lanes and cutting lanes open up with the opposing team's best rim protector now being drawn out of the paint. There are a lot of wrinkles that you can install to beat a zone when you have a big that is as talented as Kristaps Porzingis.
Right.
Kristaps' size, athleticism, IQ, shooting ability, massive
He is
catch
athletic.
radius,
I didn't
and the
know that
ability to
either.
shoot over a defender like
He's
they aren't
nasty.
there truly
He
does
might be
make
an
him
all-star
not
this
there
year,
for any
honestly.
zone. Kristaps is a threat to score from anywhere on the floor, and that's part of what makes him so dangerous and also a massive upgrade over Rob Williams. I'm not sure there's a reality that exists where Rob Williams averages 19.4 points,
There isn't.
7.2 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks per game.
And he's now injured,
shooting
too.
60% from the field and 46% from the three-point line in only 29.8 minutes of play. This season, Kristaps has been a problem. Did you guys know that at this moment in time that Kristaps is the most efficient post-up player in the entire NBA?
Damn.
And if you think that the sample size is too small, he was this good last season also. Of players that would average over 3 post-ups a game last season, Kristaps would finish first in points per post-up. Don't let this man's logo range fool you. He also destroys switches, which in addition to his spacing, opens up the entire offense for the Boston Celtics, making the lives of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown that much easier. Now, Kristaps isn't the only new Celtic making the lives of JT and JB easier offensively.
Right.
Jrue Holiday has been outstanding so far.
Yes.
Offensively, Jrue has been a steady force that has been doing everything for this Celtics team. If you need a rebound, Jrue is currently averaging 7 boards a game this season. If you need scoring, Jrue is a season removed from averaging 19.3 points on an efficient 48% from the field. If you need playmaking, Jrue will play the game like a real point guard.
Right.
Jrue understands his role and his ball IQ is off of the charts. In fact, right now, Jrue is averaging a career low 1.6 turnovers per game. As good as Marcus
very
Smart was
good.
for the Boston Celtics, Jrue has been an all-around.
Oh, you were just about to say my point, too. Marcus Smart, we love him forever. He is a Celtic favorite. He will forever be a Celtic favorite. For his hustle, for not giving up on plays, and his energizing defense. We all understand that. But let's be completely honest about this situation. He's not a true point guard. I've been saying for a long time that the Celtics needed a true guard who can shoot the ball, but is a very good playmaker. Jrue Holiday absolutely fits that category.
Upgrade. If you're a Celtics fan, you have to be loving how the additions that you made this offseason are looking.
Right.
As the Celtics have been rolling and looking dominant. Earlier this month, the Celtics would play the Pacers and embarrass them, scoring 155 to the Pacers 104. And what's scary for the rest of the league is that after this game, Kristaps Porzingis said this: "It might look really good already because we're beating these teams easy, but it's going to get much better." And Kristaps is right. This should only be the start for the Boston Celtics. This team has a lot of new players and new roles, and while they've been playing together well, everybody is still learning on the fly. There is still so much untapped potential for this team, which is currently sporting the league's best offensive rating while fielding a top 7 defense. Which, speaking of, I love the Celtics' defensive potential to go along with their cruise control offense. Every guard or forward in the starting lineup for this team is a versatile lockdown defender.
Derek White.
And Kristaps Porzingis just so happens to be one of the best rim protectors in the league. Imagine finally beating Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or Jrue Holiday off of the dribble, and then being rewarded by having to try to go and score on the guy that is anchoring this Celtics defense. Inside of 6 feet, players are shooting 14.5% worse when they are met by Kristaps Porzingis. And don't
Which is
get
unbelievable.
confused, Kristaps Porzingis is not some shot blocker that can just be taken out of the game by small ball. Last season, Kristaps only allowed .74 points per isolation, which is amazing.
That is
While the hype
great.
surrounding Kristaps has faded, this man is as much substance as ever. As long as this team stays healthy, they will be among the best in the entire NBA. In the comments below, let me know who you think that the biggest threat in the Eastern Conference is to this team. Now, as much as I love this Celtics squad, I can admit that they aren't perfect. One thing that does worry me about this team is their bench production.
Yes.
The Celtics bench is only scoring 26 points a game, a mark that is the 6th worst in the entire NBA. Peyton Pritchard wanted a bigger role and to get paid this offseason, and he's got both, but so far, this hasn't led to any sort of consistency for him. He's somebody that I hope steps it up in a big way because the opportunity for him is there. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Celtics turn into buyers ahead of this year's trade deadline in an attempt to strengthen this weak unit. In the comments below, let me know who you guys think that the perfect addition for this current Celtics team would.
Lonnie Walker the fourth. Well, that's very simple. I don't know if you're going to need a backup big. Maybe if in the playoffs you play against Philly, you might run double big and maybe put White or Holiday on the bench. Maybe. But right now, I would like to see either Lonnie Walker the fourth, Alex Caruso. Can't really think of another name right now. Like any of those kind of players, like Caruso, Lonnie Walker. Obviously, you're going to have to go to a team who's not competing for a championship to get these guys. They're there. They're absolutely there. It's going to be interesting. The trade deadline is going to be interesting for this team. I definitely know, though, that they're going to add. That's just plain and simple. They're going to add. So that's going to do it for this video here. Let's see, how much is left here?
Would be. Now, as questionable as this team's bench has been, I do have to say that there is some hidden potential there. Delano Blanton is a 6'9" point guard who can end up being a game changer for them. He's one of those guys that I'm pretty irrational about, and I'm sure that you guys know this already. Mikhailuk and Lamar Stevens have flashed, and Jordan Walsh is a two-way monster who's just waiting for his opportunity. Now, even with this in mind, I would still love for the Celtics to make a move for some additional depth. Guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think of everything. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to...
Alright, that's going to do it now. But yeah, I agree with everything he said pretty much. I pretty much agreed with everything that he said. So that's going to do it for this video here. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed these videos. Shout out if you guys knew what you guys would do. Go check out our website. The link's in the description down below. Shout out to Get Like Coop. I'll leave his link in the description down below, along with his original video. Go check him out. It's been your boy Jesse, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys. Let's go Celtics.